Alright, so in this video, we are going to learn how to create a project to create a YouTube video summarizer API using AWS Lambda and the API gateway. So just some background. I watch a lot of videos when it comes to maybe related to finance, coding, or just in general. And most of the time, I don't have the patience to actually go to the entire video. And I thought why not to create a YouTube video summarizer API to quickly summarize a video so I don't have to spend that much time to get the main point, I guess. And I tried several online summarizer and they don't work very well. So for example, like this one here, when I paste the transcript, and I mean, this is basically 8% to it. It's not even a complete summary. And for this side, the summary is not even complete. And for this one, you need to sign up with an email. So at one point, I kind of just got tired. So I figured why not just to build one on your own. Now, the browser on the right is going to be what we are going to build. So let me grab one of the links from one of the video. So let's use this one. Let's do this one, the 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. So I'm going to grab the video ID first. So I'm going to copy the link. And here's the video ID. Now with the API, I can simply change the video ID in the parameter and enter. Now it's going to make a request code. So it's basically, and this one is unable to retrieve the transcript. And that means this video does not have transcript available. And let's try a different one. Maybe this one here. Now, when press enter, is going to make an API request to API gateway. And API gateway is going to run the code in AWS Lambda to run the function. And here we have this complete summary of the video that would submit to the API. So nothing crazy, just a very small project. I'm going to close all the tabs that I don't need. And I'll keep this link open for now because I need the video ID. Actually, let me just grab the video ID. I'm going to paste the video ID in my notepad so I can reference later. For this project, you will need to have an OpenAI account as well as an active AWS account. Now log into your AWS account and want to navigate to Lambda. Both Lambda and API Gateway are region specific. I'm going to choose US East 1 region as my region destination. Now here, let's go ahead and create a function. Actually, let's do this. So we're going to create a Python virtual environment first. And that environment is going to be the place where we're going to create the Python libraries that we need to use to create the external packages. All right, so go ahead and launch your terminal. I'm going to type Python -n -env followed by the environment name. Now for the environment, I'm going to name the environment Lambda tutorial YouTube summarizer. Now that should create a folder right here. And let me go into the folder. Then I'm going to cd into the folder, cd lambda tutorial YouTube summarizer. Then we're going to activate the environment. Now I'm on Windows PC. And AWS Lambda is using Linux to host the source code. If you're a Windows user, you can download the source file of the OpenAI module. And the reason why you need the OpenAI source code in your zip file is because if you try to create the source code file using a Windows PC, for some reason, AWS Lambda will not recognize some of the packages. And you will need to use a Linux PC to install the OpenAI Python package. And hopefully the issue will get fixed pretty soon, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. And to extract a video's transcript, I'll be using this Python library called YouTube Transcript API. And it's a pretty light package, so it should install pretty quickly. And that's all the libraries we need to create this project. Now let's go back to Lambda. On the create function page, let's go ahead and name the function. And I'll name this as demo YouTube video summarizer. And for the runtime, I'm going to be using Python 10. And if you are coming from other platforms like Java, Ruby, .NET, or Node.js, the instructions should be relatively similar. Now, for the architecture, we need to choose 8664. And for the execution role, we're going to choose create a new role with basic Lambda permissions. So this is going to be the minimum permissions that we need. Then go ahead and create the function. Now, before we paste the source code, and here's the code snippet. And let me just quickly explain the source code. From the import statement, I'm going to import the OS module to load the OpenAI API key. We're going to store the API key in an environment variable, so that way we don't expose the API key. JSON module is going to be optional in this case. The reason why we need the JSON module in this case is to return the output either as a JSON record. If we want to return the output as a regular string, then we can directly take out the JSON.dumps method. I'm going to return the output as a string. And from the YouTube Transcript API module, we need to use this YouTube Transcript API class. Then I'm going to specify the language of the transcript that I want to return. And from the response, I'm going to concatenate the text because each text is going to be individual records. So let's do this. I'm going to print the response here, and we're going to see the output in CloudWatch. Then I'm going to concatenate all the text into a single string. Then I'm going to return the transcript. Now, just in case, if I run into one of these three exceptions, I'm simply going to just print the error message. Then I'm going to return the value as none. Now, that's for the get transcript function. Now, this Lambda handler function is going to be the entry point. If I'm new to Lambda, you can think this as a main function. Now, when we pass a query or an argument, it's going to store in this event argument. So inside the Lambda handler function, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to check if the OpenAI API key is available. And if not, then we're going to raise an exception. Otherwise, we're going to create the OpenAI client instance. And here we're passing the API key. Then we're going to grab the video's ID. And I noticed that this is actually an outdated function. Let me replace the function here. Okay, so sorry about that. This is the correct source code for the Lambda handler function. So most of the code are going to be the same, except that to fetch the video ID, and because the request is coming from API gateway, so we need to check if this query string parameters key is available in the event argument, as well as if the video ID key is in this event query string parameters output. And if not, then we know that the video ID is missing. Otherwise, from the event argument, we can reference these two keys to get the video ID. Then I'm going to grab the transcript from the video. Now, if the function returns nothing, then we're going to return the status code 400 with a message unable to retrieve transcript. And that's the error that we saw earlier. Now, at this point, we have both the OpenAI client instance and the video ID. Now we're going to send the prompt to the OpenAI API server. And for the prompt, I'm simply going to say, summarize the following transcript. Output the summary in bullet points and be detailed. Now, this is going to be your own, so you can modify the prompt however you want, or you can apply the same technique and use in other use cases. Then I'm going to provide the video's transcript for the GPT 3.5 turbo model to analyze the transcript. Now, because this is going to work like kind of like a Q&A, so we'll be using this legacy method, client.completions.create method. And right now, only GPT-4 and GPT 3.5 turbo instruct models are available. And to be honest, for majority of the use cases, GPT 3.5 turbo instruct model should be sufficient. And here I'm setting the maximum tokens to 512. And once we get the response back from OpenAI's API, and here we're going to set the status code to 200. And bot is going to be the output that we're going to display from the API. And we can return the summary from response.choices. And this is only going to be one record. So we're going to reference the first element, .text.stripe. Now, just in case, if one of the statements fail, then we're going to basically capture the exception, then print the error message. Go ahead and copy the source code to Lambda and deploy. Now we need to provide Lambda with an OpenAI API key. Let me go ahead and delete this key first. I'm going to create a new one. And I'll name the key Lambda demo and create. Now copy the API key. And let's go back to Lambda. Then want to go to configuration. And on the left-hand side, want to click on environment variables. Click on edit. And we're going to add a new environment variable here. For the key name, we're going to name the key OpenAI API key. And value is going to be the key itself. Then save. The next thing we need to do is we need to go to general configuration. Noticing the timeout here is only 3 seconds. And what that means is that the function only has 3 seconds to run a function. And after 3 seconds, it's going to run into the timeout exception. So we're going to increase the timeout duration. And let's do 45 seconds. Then go ahead and save the settings. Now at this point, we have finished creating the Lambda function. And to test out the function, we're going to go back to code. Then we're going to click on test. All right, so in the event JSON, actually, I don't think we can test out. Actually, we can. All right, so let's do this. So let's go back. We're going to pass the video ID in the JSON record. So let me grab this code here and test. And because we have 2 layers of records, and I think the record should look like this. Video ID. Then we're going to pass the video ID. Then click on invoke. We can save the template. Oh, let me go back. I forgot the colon here. Let me try again. Oh, okay. So I forgot to import the third-party libraries. So right now we have the source code, but we haven't included the OpenAI library and the YouTube Transcript API library. All right, so let's do that right now. And to include third-party libraries, we can either package the source code, which is this function right here, along with the third-party package files. Or we can create a layer for reusability. All right, so let's go back to the virtual environment. We're going to add the OpenAI Python package and the YouTube Transcript API package separately. So here, let's go ahead and zip the file. And you can find the link to download this file from the link in the description below. And once the folder is unzipped, we need to make sure that the OpenAI source code is in here. These two folders right here. I'm going to copy this Python folder to the root directory. Then I'm going to convert the file to a zip file. And make sure that the file name must be python.zip. And the letters need to be lowercase. And this is actually pretty important. Now duplicate the tab. On the left-hand side, we're going to expand the navigation menu. Then click on Layers. Here, we want to create a new layer. And for the layer name, let's name this as OpenAI. Then we're going to upload the Python zip file. For compatible architecture, I'm going to choose 8664. So essentially, the architecture needs to be the same as the Lambda function that you're using. And for the runtime, I'm going to choose Python 310, which is what the function is using, and create. Let's go back to the project folder. I'm going to delete the python.zip file and the Python folder. And we need to do the same thing again for the other package. And because I installed the other library using pip command, I need to go into the lib folder. Then I'm going to copy this side packages folder to the main folder. Then I need to rename the file to Python. Then we're going to convert the file to a zip file. Now go back to Lambda layers, and we're going to go back to the layers page. And for the layer, I'm going to name this as YouTube summarizer layer. I'm going to upload the python.zip file and choose the architecture. Runtime is going to be 3.10 and create. Now let's go back to the function. Now click on add a layer. And we're going to choose custom layers. Now if we look at the drop down here, we now have both the OpenAI layer and the YouTube summarizer layer. And we need to add both of them individually. Now let's do it again for the other package. Now, just in case, if the source code got updated, then you can re-upload the python.zip file to the designated layer. And that's going to create a new version. Then we just need to go back to the Lambda function. Then go to edit, then change the layer version. Now let's go ahead and do the testing. And yeah, I should have saved the testing JSON record, but that's okay. And this time I'm going to save the test event. I'll name this as test YT and save. Then I'm going to invoke the function. Oh, I said no, why? Because I forgot the closing bracket. Save and test. So if we look at the response here, we have status code 200, and that's exactly what we want. and we have body, which is the video summary. Now at this point, we're officially done with creating the Lambda function. Now we need to create the API endpoint. Now navigate to API gateway. Then click on create API. Now here we have several choices. And the main ones are HTTP API and REST API. So REST API will offer you more configurations. And for this tutorial, I'm going to use HTTP API because this one's cheaper and I'll be mainly using for my own personal project. Now let's go ahead and click on build. And for the API name, you can name the API however you want. I'm going to name the API YT-summarizer. Then click on next. So for this tutorial, I'm actually going to create all the methods and routes inside the configuration console. So that way that you will know where to go if you need to make an update when it comes to either the routes or need to create a new stage. A stage is essentially kind of like an environment. It can be UAT, testing, development, or production. Now go ahead and create the function. Actually not function, create the API. On the left-hand side, if we click on API, so this invoke URL is going to be the base URL of the API. Now, the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually create a stage to identify the environment. So I'm going to click on create. And for the stage, I'm actually going to name the stage demo. I'm going to disable automatic deployment since I want to configure everything on my own. Now here, make sure that the demo stage is select. They want to create the routes. Now on the routes, click on create. Now for this API, we're going to only have a get method. And for the route, let's name the route to summarize. Actually, let's do summarize. Then create. Now we need to attach the Lambda function to this summarize routes. So here, click on this get method. Then want to click on attach integration. And here, click on create and attach an integration. Now for the integration type, choose Lambda function. And our function is located on the US East 1. And here's the function right here. Now here, make sure that you give API gateway permission to invoke your Lambda function. And this is actually quite important. And go ahead and create. If we look at the get method here, you're going to see AWS Lambda is now integrated. And I believe that here, let's do this. And I think we're done here. I will still need to deploy. All right, so let me go back. Click on deploy and choose the demo stage. Then deploy to stage. And let me check one more thing. Okay. All right, so let's give it a try. Let's go ahead and invoke the URL from the demo stage. Now, if we look at the route here, so the route is going to be the base URL followed by the stage. Oops, let me go back. And followed by the routes. It should be summarize question mark video ID. And we'll pass the video ID. Now I see that the page is loading. All right, so and here's the response, which is the summary of the video that we submit. Now let's try a different video. Maybe not this one. Maybe this video here. So simply grab the video ID and I'll update the video ID and enter. And now I can confirm that the API is officially working. So this concludes this tutorial, and hope you guys find this video useful. If you have any tutorial ideas, feel free to post your comment in the comment section below. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video.